Hello and welcome to Auckland. This is Dresden's Tale. I'm your guide, Lewis Nichols, and this is the story where we follow the warlock hero Dresden Fane as he battles for the Stone Clan, fighting giant ants, mongrel men, and heretics, all in the name of faith and glory. When we last left Dresden, he was at a high point. His squad had been the heroes of the day in a big fight against some ants. He reaped the rewards as well. They're sleeping in the bunkhouse while everybody else is in tents. He's getting a little bit better food than the rest of them, and most of all, he's getting to rub it in. Their whole squad is, getting to poke fun at the rest of their comrades, while they got to shine in the spotlight for a change. And that's what we do, isn't it? Ups and downs, taking advantage of the good times and fighting through the bad times. I've been having some recording issues, so it's kind of thrown off my whole schedule. You're probably not listening to this until sometime in the spring, maybe April or May. I guess it largely depends upon the recording schedule I happen into, but I'm committed to this. We're going to fight through the difficulties, even if we lose some episodes and have to redo them. I have no idea what my original opener was to this particular chapter, but I figure a little of my own complaining about my recording problems will do just fine, and how Dresden and his fellows overcome adversity from time to time. We all have to. So in the interest of unstable software and the theme of ups and downs, and probably you just wanting to get to the story and not listen to me jabber, we're going to dive into Chapter 17, the 21st day of Jute. It's 2051 years after the fall. Dresden felt awkward, like he'd done something wrong. Last night, he thought it was nerves, but looking at Bee's sweaty body only made him feel lonely. She wouldn't make eye contact with him. She wouldn't look at him at all. Dresden knew he didn't understand women. No man he'd ever talked to did. Maybe it was some universal law that he had to obey just like everyone else. Hunting and killing giant ants had turned into a laborious task, requiring more hunting than killing. After 3 days, they weren't finding much. It was easy to assume most were dead or driven back below ground. The militia squads were only finding a few at a time now. The biggest group they'd encountered on that day only numbered 10. Larafin turned it into an exercise, driving them in wide-ranging sweeps of empty terrain. Years ago, it had been trolls, terrible creatures, just one capable of shredding a squad of common militia. All the lands in the region and farther south had been overrun with them. While they were still in occasional danger, heroes like Rockslide had killed most of the vile beasts. No one expected their demise would have negative consequences, but good acts always bore unintended evil. In their absence, the ants and other creatures flourished. How many of the monstrous insects had trolls killed over the years? "Do you run the ranch?" Dresden asked, trying to salvage something from the uncomfortable mood. Last night, they hadn't exchanged a single word after the deed was done. She'd flirted with him at dinner and caught him alone. He was utterly unequipped to resist her eagerness as she pulled him into her small room and had her way with him. When they were done, the two shared a long silence before she unceremoniously got up and left. Dresden didn't feel like the sex had been good, but didn't know what he could have done different. Now he wondered about the whore in Jungle Country. Was she faking it? She was a professional, after all. Dresden had been shocked when Bee caught him heading for the loft less than an hour ago, but he couldn't deny her a second try. Maybe he could do better. If not, bad sex was still pretty damn good. A bead of sweat dropped from his nose to the ground. It had been wet and humid, but the heat was more than a few showers could solve. Her room was tiny, like a coffin for two, and her window was sealed tight, as if she wanted to lock something out. No, there was anger in her voice. One of my uncle's executors handles everything. I'm just a maid that happens to be related. Why a maid? You're a warrior. She pulled the blanket up over her. Apparently she didn't like him looking at her breasts instead of her eyes. Not for the first time, he realized she wasn't so attractive. No, not a warrior, just a man-at-arms. He smiled. How about a woman-at-arms? She didn't react to his attempt at humor. When are you leaving? That was it then. He rose. Now, I guess. Thunder rumbled outside. Maybe he could get to the barn before it started raining again. No, stupid. The farm. When is your squad leaving the farm? The words were harsh, leaving no room for doubt the way she really felt about him. I don't know. I'm just a dwarf at arms. His own joke sounded stupid in his head. No wonder she didn't like him. I heard your captain saying 3 more days. She got up and started washing herself with the same rag she used to clean the dinner tables. I guess I know more than you. Now stand still. Yeah, I guess you do. He complied with her orders and she started scrubbing him below the waist. She threw the rag in the basin. Let's go again. So, Dresden's having some woman problems. We've all been there. Problems with men or women or one or the other. Things not quite going how you planned. Sometimes the good is the bad and the bad is the good, but that's more philosophical than I intend to get into at the moment. B is pretty tight-lipped, doesn't want to give away too many of her motivations, and the one time Dresden's actually looking to make small talk, he's rebuffed every time. Of course, like most young men, he's just trying to impress her, but he can't figure out how to do it. So Dresden, a few hours later, steps out of the manor house into a downpour. He didn't hurry, just in case somebody was watching. What warrior could possibly run from the rain? He jumped at the shadow and then cursed himself. It was just a hound who had startled him trying to make his way to the front porch where it was dry. He made fun of himself. Who indeed would run from the rain? Coming around the corner, Dresden noticed a glow in the barn. As he got closer, he saw everyone moving about and shouting. A fire, he wondered? He ran the last 50 feet. Goad ducked low under the swing of a mace. Countering the human's attack with a punch to the jaw, the big minotaur danced back. He threw his hands up and bellowed as if he'd already won. Goad's opponent was staggered. Shuffling back, he checked the man's attack with his buckler and kicked him in the knee. Again, the man went down. Goad jumped high, showing off to the assembled warriors. Caught up in the moment, Dresden cheered his squad leader. He didn't know what they were fighting over, but it was clearly some sort of challenge. Captain Larafin stood by, watching the battle with unreasonable eyes. Dresden yelled, "Finish him, Goad!" The Minotaur caught his friend's eye and shook a fist in victory. Dresden saw it coming. Goad never did. The human had regained his feet. He didn't hesitate, not even for a second. A hard blow to Goad's armored shoulder might have broken his collarbone. The second certainly cracked a rib. That's all it took. The fight was over. Challenge lost, Larafin announced. Get your shit cleared out of the barn and set up your tents. Now all of you, get some sleep. Dresden's eyes got big. What do you mean, clear out? The captain wasn't listening. What does he mean? Someone from Alpha Dog Squad pushed past him. He means you sleep in the rain. Glory is fleeting, rookie. Get used to it. I can't believe you lost to that idiot, Mouse complained. It had taken them half an hour to get their tents assembled in the rain. Dres, you should have stayed the night with Bee. Dresden shivered. It's warmer out here. You're the only man in Auckland that complains about getting laid. Goad slammed the dwarf on the back. Cheer up. The rain has nearly stopped. Donald had drawn upon his priestly skills and magically healed the squad leader after battle. Except for a few dents in his armor, the Minotaur seemed no worse than wear. Donald snorted. It was just a matter of time. For most of us, this is our first or second summer. Those fools have been doing this for years. It might be a long time before we're the alphas. Drayle hooted a laugh. If ever. I think it's house guard for me. We're on the bay, and sometimes a creeper fish comes up after our chickens. The master doesn't have much anybody else brave enough to run them off. Mouse groaned. My new master has all but told me I'm stuck in the wood shop for the next 2 seasons. No idea why I joined to start with. Something about a bed and getting to eat regularly, Dresden pointed out. His friend flapped open a wing, spraying the dwarf with water. Overrated. I guess if I was a fancy pants warlock, I might get something more interesting like the coal run. Dresden thought his friend was going to laugh himself into unconsciousness. The dwarf sighed, looking out the tent flap into the gloom. Yeah, this is as good as it gets. And so we close out chapter 17. Chapter 18 coming up here in a few days. We're going to see what else Dresden can get himself back into as his little late season mission is wrapped up. We only have a few more chapters left in this first season of stories. So don't necessarily expect nice, clean endings in this series. It's more of a soap opera kind of format. And while there are definitely themes and plots that I will try to hit beats on during the various chapters and the various ends of season, overall we're dealing with a very long, flowing story. But that's it for now. This is the part where I ask you to do all those things that help so much. Hit the like button if you can. Subscribe if you haven't done that. There's a little bell down there. You do all those things and you'll get notifications every time I post a new episode, whether it be for Dresden's Tale or the companion episodes. Follow me on Twitter. If you do the Twitter thing, that's probably the easiest way to keep up with station updates and hopefully some other interesting information as well. You can buy the book, virtually that is. Does not exist in a printed format, but that's on Amazon for Kindle readers. And there's the more direct way of going over to Patreon and donating directly. The more you can help me, the more I can focus on producing content for the channel. In the meantime, if you don't do any of those things, I appreciate it very much. The thing that matters most to me is that you stopped by and that you spent a few minutes here giving a listen to my story. And as always, as you put down your phone or move to the next video, go about your lives. I hope that you all have an absolutely wonderful day.